Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, then is heard from no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Welcome, my friends, to Time Between Times storytelling, with me, Owen Staton. The spring is surely upon us, my friends. The lights are bright and the bluebells pop from the earth. The world is full of life, and we are gathering here for another tale traditionally told at the Firepit at the heart of the forest. Croeso, ffrindiau. Welcome. I want to thank you so much for continuing to choose Time Between Times as the place where you can get your stories, where you can relax in a mindful way and just enjoy and forget about the cares and worries of the real world and lose yourself in a tide of tales. I have a new website. It's welshstoryteller.com, and if you go there you will find all the episodes of this podcast going back to episode 1, along with photographs, films, reports, blogs about all the things that I am doing, and also it's the best place to contact me. So if you need any storytelling, or you want any storytelling, and you especially want it in Wales, come to welshstoryteller.com. Today's story is not set in Wales, however. I started this by reading my favourite piece from any Shakespeare play, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, from Macbeth, the Scottish play, set in the heart of Scotland in a violent and turbulent age, and we will go back there today as we visit the castle of Glamis. Now, of course, Macbeth was the Thane of Glamis in the play, but never truly visited that castle or was there, for it was built long after. But it is said that Malcolm II was murdered there, and the place is full of ghosts. This is a ghost story, my friends, and therefore is frightening and also a little bit upsetting, so you have been warned. However, it's a story, and a story we like to be told to awaken the imagination. So sit back, relax, close your eyes if it's safe to do so, and join me as we go to the Firepit at the heart of the forest. The nights are getting shorter and the days are lengthening. There is a cool and a calm in the air, and when you breathe it in, it seems to refresh your very soul. It's been a hard, busy day, but you are not finished. You are not ready to give up just yet. And you leave your house when others are just returning. As you turn the lock in the key to the door, it feels like you are saying goodbye to the old world and going to the place you really want to be. You stride down the path and take a step and a stop at your gate. Cars are zooming past. A cyclist passes. Even the walkers seem to be in a hurry, but you are not. You open the door and it creaks suddenly, You think you must get that fixed. But now is not the time for that. Now is the time for tales, and not for those small jobs, not for those things that bother us on a day-to-day basis. You walk down the street. You pass your neighbours' houses. You see the televisions blazing through the windows. You hear the music pumping its endless beats. And there you come to the forest, with the trees that stretch to the sky. You take a step and enter through the path that few know, and are immediately surrounded by shadow. All around you there is darkness. But you are not afraid, oh no. Every step you take, you hear the dead leaves crunching underfoot. But the forest is starting to come alive. The bluebells are popping out. The flowers are blooming. The birds are singing. As you come to that old mossy tower at the heart of the woods, you look at it. The moss seems far greener and brighter, and even though it's a shell and a ruin, this must have been somewhere once, where great deeds took place. You hop over the babbling brook, and there it is, the Firepit, in the clearing. Today it seems brighter. The flames seem more orange. The heat seems more welcoming. And you step into that clearing, and there you find your friends. Friends from the past, friends from the present, and friends from the future. Anyone you want to be here is here, and they welcome you with hugs and greetings and a warm brew. You sit by the fire and feel a heat on your feet, on your hands, on your face, and you know that you are here. You are at the Firepit at the heart of the forest, at the time between times, the time it is neither night nor day, but the sun has gone, and the sky is grey, the time when the veil between our world and the fairy world grows wafer thin, so thin that for a few moments, just a few moments, we can reach into their realm, and for a few moments they can reach into ours. You see, now is the time that people see the lights in the sky. Now is the time that people see the Tylwyth Teg. Now is the time that people see ghosts. And tonight we will see ghosts, or hear of their tales, or speak of their deeds, of those who came before us and are too afraid to leave. As we head from Wales, far north, to the land of Scotland, a bountiful, beautiful place. The highlands full of heather, the cities bustling, and there at its heart is Glamis Castle, a dark spot on a bright land. Rain-swept and winsome, it has stood there for many centuries, its towers pointed and stretched to the sky like a villain's lair in the brightest fairy tale. Its windows are beyond counting, and it is said that there are more windows than rooms, and that there are secret rooms hidden there in between the walls. Tales speak of great gatherings where all the guests have placed a towel outside their window, and yet those outside still see more windows without towels. Hidden rooms, bricked up places, long forgotten secrets. Its corridors and its chambers are filled with great art. Long dead stags stare down from high walls, and the place echoes with the deeds of eternity. Under an old floor it is said that there is a blood stain that will not be washed away. A horrible, sinister spectre stalks some of the bedrooms, and is known to be the woman without a tongue. This horrific visage has been glimpsed by many people over the years. A grey lady sits and prays in the chapel, her voice mumbling under her breath, and silently glides away when people enter There are tales of the monster of Glamis, one of the hidden rooms being used to brick up an unwanted child left there, fed under the door, who growled and wailed into the night for many years. But the tale we are going to tell is not of any of these. There is a great chamber in Glamis called the Queen's Room. Decadent and discordant, it is there for all to see, a beautiful place. But outside its door there is a stone step leading to a stone seat that looks down the corridor as if it is glaring off into the ether, and there it has stood for many centuries, and all who sit on it feel the chill permeate through their body. You see, Glamis is a cold place, a heartless place, a place filled with longing and legend. And many years ago, a tale of a small boy began at the heart of winter. The snow was falling, filling the fields around Glamis with a white carpet. Even the black stone and dark visage of this great castle was suddenly beautified by the flakes falling from the sky. As a young boy and his mother made their way up the path towards the great gateway, where they were greeted by the head of the servants. You see, the boy was to become a page. His family were poor and lived nearby, and for many years, they had tried to find employment for this child. He was reckless, he was naughty, he was unbehaving, shall we say, and he would run off from the house a lot and had to be found, and they hoped that by bringing him to Glamis he would find discipline. He was taken in and made a page boy, and spent many months there learning his trade. But all of the time he was disobedient. He would hide in the cupboards under the stairs. He would run out after night to play in the parks and trees around. He would be rude to guests, in a playful way, of course. But the servants despaired, and they started to punish him. Every time he was disobedient, they would make him sit on the stone seat in front of the Queen's room, first for minutes and then for hours, in the hope that he would learn that his behaviour had consequences. The Christmas hunt was upon them. The great and the good had gathered at Glamis for the greatest hunt in all of Scotland. And that day all the lords set off on their horses into the forest that was filled with snow. The servants were preparing a feast for their return, and the afternoon, although short in stature, seemed like an eternity as they awaited them. Soon the baying of the hounds and the noise of the horses came again, and the servants started to prepare the feast. The meat was served, but it was fallen short, and it was soon discovered that the servant boy had fed some of the best cuts to the hounds involved in the hunt. Some of the great and the good who had arrived for this feast had to go hungry, with no meat for their supper, and although the night was rung with cheer, there were many complaints to the lord and lady at Glamis. This, of course, filtered down through the back stairs to the servants' quarters, and the boy was roundly blamed, for he was seen giving a bit of beef to a spaniel outside the step. The chief servant grabbed him by the ear, and although the cheers and the dancing was going on in the great hall, he was carried up the stairs and put on the stone seat, where he was told he would have to wait until that chief servant returned and brought him back, and only then could he sleep. The fury of the servants knew no bounds, and they left the boy there. That night was a night like no other. There were so many guests, there was so much food, there were so many revels, that the night grew old, and the sky grew colder. and the grounds around Glamis was filled with frost. And by the time all the guests had gone to their chambers, by the time all the known rooms were filled by those sleeping people, the servants fell to exhaustion and returned to their beds, leaving the young boy on the step outside the Queen's room. The night grew darker until a steady, bright, dim dawn started to descend upon the darkness, bringing the light of the new day. As the sun came up, Glamis started to sparkle as icicles fell from many of the windows. A servant went up the stairs towards the Queen's room in order to open the curtains, and there was greeted by a sight of horror. For sitting on the stone step was the boy, his back against the seat, and his face covered in an icy mask. Stone, dead. For Glamis had murdered sleep, and the boy there had frozen to death in the darkest heart of the deepest night, in the dreadest winter, for many years. Although he was disobedient, he was not unloved, and a sorrow fell upon the staff of Glamis like a pall on the deepest night. He was buried in the graveyard nearby. And none spoke of this horrible night. But from that very moment, from that day, from that time until the time that I speak to you today, he has been glimpsed many times, sitting on the step with a look of mischief in his face, a smile, a glint. Many people have reported as they walk into the Queen's room feeling a hand trip their leg, causing them to stumble, and a short, cheery laugh can be heard, as if he has found great joy in what he has done. It was a dark night, and a dreadful deed, and a horrible thing to happen. But the young boy, the page boy of Glamis, has stayed ever since, as if although this place he was sent, this place that was his death, a horrible death, still brings him happiness in some strange way. When there are dogs there, when there are horses, they always feel content, as if some unseen hand is feeding them food or passing on their care and joy. But beyond count are the people who have seen the page boy sitting on the stone seat, watching the visitors pass at all time of day and all time of night, just laughing and enjoying those. The ghosts of Glamis are too numerous to tell tonight, and their tales are there for another day. But that of the page boy, though simple and far from serene, is the one I have chosen to tell you tonight at the time between times, the time it's neither night nor day, but the sun has gone and the sky is grey. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Take care as you head back to your house, head back to the real world, head back to the life that is good to you, and know that you will always have a place here at the Firepit at the heart of the forest. If you would be kind enough to leave a review wherever you get this podcast, I would most appreciate it. And if you can support me through Ko-fi.com/Owen Staton, or Patreon at patreon.com/Owen Staton 7, where you will receive extra stories, extra blogs, extra photos, extra discussions, all told at the time between times. I thank you so much for joining me here. If you want to contact me, go to welshstoryteller.com. My name is Owen Staton. I hope you have enjoyed. Take care. Nosta.